Hello and welcome back to The Rundown. My name is Carla de La Paz.
And my name's Karen Kateska. Coming up in this week's show, we head over to ACMI to attend the Short Flicks Festival, and we have special guest Sonia DeLaurie joining us.
And we have a very special instalment of the ACLA, a Latrobe Current Affair. Mitch and Caelum join us for sport to talk WWE at the MCG and the Conor McGregor and Khabib UFC match that had everyone talking.
But before we head into those stories, let's have a look at the latest news headlines. Border agents can now demand access to your digital devices. Both Australia and New Zealand officers can now legally search not only your hand luggage but also contents of any digital devices, including social media accounts on items such as tablets, iPhones and laptops. Whether you're a citizen or not, those who don't comply with requests can face fines of $5,000 or prosecution. Australia and New Zealand don't currently publish any data on these searches. However, there is a growing trend of device searches at the US borders. There has been a more than a five-fold increase in number of device inspections between 2015 and 2016. In case where travellers have not complied in requests, people have had their devices confiscated for a short period of time, only to be returned weeks or days later. Companies like Microsoft, Apple and Google all say that handing over password to one of their apps or devices is in breach of their services agreement, privacy management and safety practices. This raises the question about the position governments are putting travellers in when they ask for this kind of information.
The new Australian $50 bill was revealed earlier this week, unveiling its new design and even tougher security features. The note maintains the faces of Edith Cohen and David Unipon. However, the noticeable differences include a change in size, a black swan that appears when the note is tilted, and lastly, within the clear panel lies a hologram of a church and the number 50 that reverses itself when the note is moved from side to side. RBA Assistant Governor Lindsay Bolton insists that the new design features will make it practically impossible to forge the $50 bill, making it one of the most secure currencies in the world. However, in and amongst these new tactical features is the raised bumps located on the top and bottom of the bill to help discern the note's value, making it easier to identify for blind and visually impaired Australians. Chris Edwards, a visually impaired man who lost his eyesight in his teens, told News.com that today is really important because it's another step towards evening the playing field for people with low vision, labelling it as the most significant feature we have in our banknotes. We can expect to see the new $50 bill when it starts circulating on the 18th of this month.
A video has been released showing how a painting made by anonymous artist Banksy has self-destructed itself after it was sold for over $1 million. The artwork was framed of a girl with a balloon. Moments after the piece was sold, the canvas of a girl reaching for a heart-shaped balloon shredded itself. Banksy commented on Instagram, quoting Picasso, "The urge to destroy is also a creative urge." The video shows someone in a hoodie installing the device. The video then shows the moment the painting shredded itself at the auction house on Friday. John Brandler, director of Brandler Art Galleries, described Banksy as the ultimate public artist and said the stunt was absolutely brilliant. It is still unclear how the shredder was activated. I love this story so much.
It's so cool, isn't it?
I don't think there's anyone like Banksy out there. What he does with his art, and the fact that no one knows who he is makes it so much better because it just sends messages out. He just thinks out of the box, and this was amazing, but I feel so sorry for the person that paid over $1 million for it.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Now, the girl holding the balloon is a staple Banksy sort of painting. I think you see it everywhere. I think it's the most popular one. But I agree with you. I feel really, really bad for that guy that paid all that money just to have it shredded. Does he still have to pay for it now?
I mean, unless he really loves Banksy and thought that was worth the $1 million.
Yeah. As much as I feel bad for him, I give Banksy credit because it was really funny.
I'm just in awe. He did really well. But you guys send in your thoughts at the Rundown10 on Twitter and tell us what you thought of his stunt. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you feel sorry for the guy that paid $1 million for it? But on the topic of Banksy, where did you hear of him first?
I'd say just on the internet. I feel like, and this, I don't know if it's actually Banksy or if it's just copycats, but in the city, I'm pretty sure, as I said before, the girl holding the balloon, I'm pretty sure there is one somewhere in Melbourne. I can't remember where. But I just feel like I just know it just of word of mouth.
I feel like everyone should know who Banksy is.
Yeah.
His work is great. But on the topic of art and extraordinary artists, here at La Trobe we have some very talented artists. Our brilliant theatre and film students have created some very amazing and funny films that have been showcased at the Short Flick Festival held at the Australian Centre for the Moving Image, also known as ACMI, on Monday. Our reporter Mamina has this report.
This week ACMI held the Short Flick screening event, showcasing student films. Short Flicks has been celebrating La Trobe student films since 1996.
Hi, my name is Emily Jones and I am the film coordinator with La Trobe Student Theatre and Film. Tonight we are premiering our Short Flicks Film Festival, and it's this incredible film festival catered towards students. It's with La Trobe Student Theatre and Film, and basically we get students to write in an original script, and at the end of it we choose the scripts, we tell them, we give them a crew, we give them equipment, and by the end of it they've got some incredible films, and that gets shown at the big screens at ACMI, which is an amazing experience.
The short films range from comedy and drama sketches, including Kissy Kissy, The Portrait Artist, and Billy.
All the people that I worked with, and when I did this event last year, all the people I worked with, they're all emerging creatives, just first putting their foot through the door. And I think what's so incredible is to have such an amazing opportunity to do this, to showcase your work, to work hard towards something and put yourself out there that's going to be displayed in an amazing location. I mean, so many people make films that never get shown.
Short Flicks is a good way to display the work of students just entering the competitive film industry.
It's really important to showcase student films. I mean, everyone knows the Australian industry is not like full of money, and so you've got to find your opportunities where you can, and student films are the beginning. It's where you meet, obviously where you refine your craft, but obviously it's also where you meet all the people that you're going to be working with one day professionally. You get to begin to make those foundations of those relationships, so it's so important.
I think it's important for a lot of reasons. Like, I'm not a film student, but I love creating, and I think it's great for people's confidence, and to give people a space to create, I think, is always a good thing. But I think people are making some really cool stuff, so I'm keen to see where that goes.
I honestly think that the future, whatever it's going to be, which I can't say, I think the future is going to be very bright.
Mamina Shakur, The Rundown.
Now joining us at the desk is Sonia Deloria, an actress, writer and student theatre coordinator who directed and starred in her own short film at ACMI this year called Kissy Kissy. Thanks for joining us, Sonia, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No
Gee,
worries.
that sounds very self-indulgent. Why did I do all that stuff?
We're glad to have you here. Can you tell us a bit, and for those who don't know, what the Short Flicks Festival at ACMI is all about?
Well, it gives students the opportunity to make their own films and have them screened on the big screen. So we do a call out early in the year for scripts, and then from those we have a read and select not just the strongest ones, but the ones that are most feasibly able to be made. And then students go away over the June-July period and film them. And then they're all edited and put together into a great collection and screened at ACMI in October.
Having your work screened at ACMI is amazing. What do you love most about ACMI itself?
Well, I love the cinema, but also the fantastic exhibitions that I've seen there. I don't know if anyone's been to the most recent Alice in Wonderland, or in the past they've done the Tim Burton, and it's just a great history of cinema as well as screening current films.
Yeah, so you yourself were, as I mentioned in your introduction, you were involved with ACMI this year with your film Kissy Kissy.
Yes.
Can you describe the process and the things that are involved with making a short film?
Right. Well, just from going from the initial idea and the script, then comes all the logistics, which the trickiest thing is syncing up the people in the same place. For example, the actors and the crew and director. So the production elements of it. But once you've got that going, and if you've got a good focused team, then you can have a lot of fun and be productive in creating it.
For sure. And Kissy Kissy was a comedy, and you yourself are a comedian. Can you explain to me how you kind of got into comedy?
Well, I started doing stand-up many, many years ago. So as well as my work out here at La Trobe, I work as a stand-up comedian and a comedy writer on a television show. So, yeah, I thought I want to try and start filming stuff as well. So why not?
What are some of the most important things you need to know in making a short film?
I would say, let me think, because I don't know anything and I made one, so it's possible for anyone to do it. No, I would say just having a timeline, having a really strong timeline that you can stick to, and being quite task-oriented. Yeah.
Okay, so can you describe the feeling or how you felt when you completed a short film and it was screened at ACMI? Like, how did that feel for you?
It felt great beforehand. I felt terrible, and I did not want to be in the cinema. I was thinking of leaving because I didn't want to see myself on the big screen. It's a very large screen, and also I didn't know if people were going to laugh.
It was very funny. I watched it. You did a great job.
Thank you very much. And it's strange because I perform live most nights, and so I've gotten used to that. And if the audience is laughing or they're not, it's like I'm fine with that now because I've been doing that for many, many years. And then this whole new feeling of nerves came. I've never sort of filmed anything to screen, and I was like, "Oh, are they gonna like it or not?"
Short flicks have been screening at ACMI since the mid-90s. How can students get involved in this?
Well, to get involved in anything student theatre and film related, you can come see us. Our office is in the Union Building, level 3 of the Union Building at La Trobe, just near Chisholm College. You can call us, 9479 1198. And basically, if you make contact with us and sign up to student theatre, then we send you an e-newsletter, and we always post on our Facebook about all the upcoming events and opportunities, how to get involved in anything.
Well, thank you so much, Sonia, for joining us. It was lovely speaking to you. Hopefully we continue to see some of your work in future.
Yes.
But all the best. And
thank you for coming in.
Thank you for coming
in. No worries.
Thanks.
On weekends, we all love to get up to fun things, and this weekend our producer James and reporter Caelum decided to attempt a burger challenge, attempting to eat the monumental burger in 8 minutes. Let's have a look at how they did.
Burger & Co. is a relatively new burger joint just 15 minutes southwest from La Trobe University's Bundoora campus. They are a very popular start-up restaurant that serves some extremely delicious burgers. They have a popular burger challenge in which contestants can win a t-shirt, but head chef Robbie says that only 30 people have succeeded.
We'll get probably 30. 30? Yeah. We'll get the one guy, when he came, he was very drunk. He smashed everything in 3 minutes.
The $18 burger challenge consists of 2 beef patties, 2 slices of cheese, 2 slices of bacon, 2 slices of Korean fried chicken, pickles, tomato ketchup, mustard, and also some jalapenos. Last Friday afternoon, James and I ventured down to Coburg to try on this mammoth burger challenge.
Right. You actually have to hold it upright. You guys start together?
I genuinely feel sick before I've started this.
I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, do I have the onion ring or do I not have the onion ring?
There's a full cow, about 4 chickens, an after cheese from Italy in it. The layer of grease is ready. Oh.
Okay. Ready, boys? All right.
3, 2, 1. The time didn't start.
Okay, false start.
Oh my word, it's a false start. I think Usain Bolt.
I heard a beep. Yeah. I heard a beep. Does that go?
Overwhelming. was hoping for crispy fried chicken. It's just beer batter.
You've just got all batter. Look at that. Show the camera. Yeah, that's all batter.
I give you 8 hours first and I'll still
No. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not even close. That's the most embarrassing thing.
My feeble attempt.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, mine's not great either.
If that was crispy chicken,
yeah.
I would have smashed it.
Yeah, there's no more of that I want. I'm done.
This has been Caelum Ferrarese for The Rundown.
Oh, wow. That looked like a heart attack waiting to happen, that burger. That was
sure.
I do not know how they got even through half of that.
I don't think I would be able to eat a burger for a solid week if that was me.
Well done, boys.
Really, 100%. And James was right, though. That was pure beer batter.
I can't believe you took a bite out of that batter. That was...
Yeah, definitely a one-way trip to a clogged artery.
I really don't know how people do challenges like this. If I did a burger challenge, I wouldn't be able to see another burger for a lifetime.
Oh, no. But it's hilarious that James won with a knife and fork. A knife and fork? Like, you're meant to eat a burger with your hands and go full in, but he's just like, no, knife and fork it is. But I'm super bummed that I couldn't go because I really wanted to go to that.
But now I'm a bit thankful we couldn't go.
Yeah, well, I still think I would have won if I went, so... I don't know. But anyway, now some of you may remember the occasional investigative journalist from ACLA or a current Latrobe affair, Caelum Misson. Now he has returned for a one-time special on AFL fans who are looking to fill the void when the footy season ends. I'm a little nervous with this one, but let's check it out.
Everyone loves sports. It's that time of year again. The AFL Grand Finals are here, and footy fans all over Australia are celebrating with their usual penchant for class and good-natured banter. But what happens to these wonderful people when the sirens stop blaring? When the Herald Sun runs out of things to print, just what do they do with themselves? We spoke to local sports fan Tristan Smith to get a grip on the minuscule details of this overcompensated subject.
Oh, mate. Of AFL. Oh, I tell you what, mate, there's nothing more manly than slapping butts and touching balls. Nah, mate, the whole world's a hell of a lot less beautiful without footy around. When it ain't the season, I spend my days just chilling out here, spreading syphilis into the lake. For some reason, people think it's the Ducks. I mean, that's fine, but there's no bloody logic behind that thinking. They're communists. They can't afford this. It's like if I suddenly started voting for Labor. Why the do that?
Logic.
What's your profanity?
To unveil the mystery, we spoke to Latrobe University's world-renowned sports journalism students. We spoke to local legend Geb Steele as he took time out of his busy schedule to lead us out of the Plato-esque cave that is post-AFL life.
AFL season, it's bloody fantastic. You want to get some work done around here? Just wait until the AFL season and then you're golden.
Why don't you just try filming something else?
I don't understand.
Well, there are other things you can film too.
I said no!
So what do you do?
I said no!
In the days after the interview, we discovered a horrible antediluvian truth.
Where's sport? There's no sport. Yoga's not a sport.
You see, AFL season, much like Halloween, is a time when the fell energies of the world's darkest secrets reach out of the ether and take the form of man, which explains Collingwood fans. Local foreigner James Hurley had this to say about whacking the leather.
The AFL, or known as footy, what a load of rubbish. Everyone in Victoria thinks it's the best thing in the world, but no one else in the world cares about it. It's aerial ping pong. It's a game of hot potato that got off hand quickly. If you score a goal, you get 6 points. But if you miss the goal, you get a sympathy point. And before the grand final, they throw a parade, not for the winner, just for the sporting event. What is that all about?
Franz Kafka once wrote, "Enclosed in my own four walls, I found myself an immigrant imprisoned in a foreign country. I saw my family as strange aliens, whose foreign customs, rights and very language defied comprehension. Though I did not want it, they forced me to participate in their bizarre rituals. I could not resist." Well, that has to do with this. This has been Caelum Mission reporting, ACLA.
Oof. All right.
That was
something else.
Yep.
For sure, but that was a really big, fun package. It was good to see ACLA back for the show today. It's definitely an OG segment here on Upstart. For people that aren't aware, it's definitely got this gonzo type of journalism vibe to it, where it involves the reporter covering the action. He's in it, and the elements are part of the experience. The elements part of the experience, are sort of part real, part fiction. But yeah, you can check out their past videos. I'm pretty sure the most popular one is their Ducks La Trobe, which
yes, I've seen that
on
one.
YouTube.
That's a good one. You definitely should
That's
check
funny.
it out. And it was a really fun package. If you go and have a look at their other videos on Upstart Magazine's YouTube page, tweet us at TheRundown10 and tell us which was your favourite episode. But now it's time for sport, and it's been a big weekend for the UFC and WWE. We'll have the latest in sports. When Mitch and Callum join us, we'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome back. We're now joined by our regular sports presenters, Mitch and Caelum. How are we, boys?
Very good, thanks. How are you guys?
I'm good, thank you. So now once again, we had a pretty big week in sport, but let's talk wrestling and men in tight spandex, shall we? So over the weekend, the MCG hosted Australia's biggest ever pro wrestling events, WWE Super Showdown. We saw some pretty big names in the event, including John Cena, Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins. Obviously, the main event was between Shawn Michaels, Triple H and Deadman in the main event. What did you guys think of the match, considering that this will be the last time we see two greats go one-on-one?
Well, I thought it was pretty good overall. As a pretty keen wrestling fan myself, I was very fortunate enough to go and see what was the most historic event in Australian wrestling history. We got to see some of the greatest, I guess, performers of all time come to the MCG and make their impact. I guess we saw, obviously it was called the Super Showdown, in front of 70,000 people, in front of a very raucous MCG crowd, and the night was just amazing. It was amazing from in so many different perspectives. As you said, the last time we'll ever see them go one-on-one, Triple H and The Undertaker. They'll be involved in another match soon down the line because of what happened after the match, as we can see there on the screen. Something happened after the match, but the night was also very memorable for something that happened a little bit earlier on in the night between two of, I guess, not the most well-known superstars. They perform in the cruiserweight division, and that was Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy. Now, Buddy Murphy is a Victorian. He was born in Melbourne, lived at the boy from Berwick, and he became the first single superstar he became the first WWE superstar to win a WWE singles title as an Australian, which is quite historic.
Yeah, really cool.
What do you think, Mitch?
Well, yeah, we talk about obviously the numbers that attended. It's like a big footy game. When you talk about excess of 70,000 people, and a lot of the fighters who were in there, like we said, probably a bit past their prime. But when you talk about the crowd that went there, a lot of Gen X and Gen Y probably attendees, like Callum himself, really want to see those players or the wrestlers that they grew up with when they were probably 10 years old when they first started. So it's really exciting to see some of the ones you do grow up with finish it off well, and it was a fantastic spectacle.
Yeah, apparently something happened with John Cena. I think his girlfriend or something went missing at the MCG, and the security had to ask if anyone had seen her.
Terrible. Terrible.
Let's move on.
Quickly move on.
For another big fight that had everyone talking over the weekend, it was a UFC fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. They had a violent aftermath that made news headlines. Khabib jumped out of the octagon to attack one of McGregor's cornermen. What were your reactions to this?
I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. I'm sure I was as stunned as Mitch was, because you just don't see that at a UFC event. You don't see someone win and then be almost a sore winner in that they jump the fence and attack the coaching staff of the loser. And then you don't see the winning staff members jump into the ring and then start punching the loser from behind. It just doesn't make sense. It was just an absolute farce from the UFC's perspective, and I'm sure that you probably have similar views, Mitch.
Yeah, well, you talk, obviously the league in itself, and Dana White came out saying it's obviously tarnished the reputation of the sport in a bit, but watching it live, I was a neutral fan going into it. I loved it. Straight after it happened, I just didn't know what was happening. It was unpredictable, a bit like WWE. But you look at the background of both wrestlers, and it was arguably the biggest fight in UFC history. Two players in their peak. McGregor having time off to box Mayweather last year, and Khabib sitting at 26-27-0 in his career. So no, it was a fantastic spectacle. Obviously, the fight itself probably didn't live up to the expectation, but the headlines probably did. And no, obviously what happened after was unimaginable, as Cael said, but no, I think it was still fantastic to see for some fans.
And what punishments do you believe should have been handed down? Because it was a pretty big event and it kind of all hell went loose.
Well, I was pretty vocal about it on Twitter once it actually happened, and I said that the only course of action here should be that they strip Khabib of the title, and that's simply because you want to make a statement as the UFC, you want to maintain your integrity, and as far as I can tell, the only thing they're looking at is a rematch, and in my eyes, that they've just got dollar bills. They've got dollar bills in their eyes. They're all only looking at the money. They're not focused on, I guess, maintaining that integrity that I personally feel they should try to maintain, but that's the way they're going to go about it. Whether they do strip Khabib of the title, I don't know. What do you see happening, Mitch?
The way Dana White runs the organisation, I doubt you'll see Khabib stripped. Obviously, straight after the fight, when they pulled McGregor off stage, and Khabib was surrounded by about 30 security guards, with the crowd quite angsty following the procedure. So, look, I think that what we'll see is Khabib will hold it. I don't think we'll see a rematch, as much as the UFC would love to have it. It would be telecast, and whilst that was the biggest fight, it would just be a rematch would be probably just as big, if not bigger now, with the circumstances. But I doubt we'll see a rematch. McGregor, he'll probably look to keep fighting, though. We saw how he was going to go when his return, and to be honest, I think he did fairly well against Khabib. He's an absolute animal, and when he gets to ground, and that's how he played, and that's how he won against McGregor. But I think we'll see both players probably go their own way, and probably still dominate the sport.
He actually jumped out of cage because apparently there was a racist comment called out, and that was the reason he did go out. And I'd love to see another rematch. I think everyone would be, just because of that, how it ended. And
but I'm not a huge fan of UFC. Like, I don't watch it, I don't understand it. So I'm kind of hoping that you guys can take me through the basics, because you guys seem like you know what you're talking about. So give me a rundown.
Well, obviously the build up for this fight alone was massive. Obviously last year, McGregor was obviously for those who do know the sport, attacked Khabib's bus with his team on it. So this fight goes back to well into last year, and as well as that, the whole week building up to the fight and the weigh-in, there was words thrown, probably a bit nasty, like you said, that probably ignited that post-match luau, or however you want to, whatever you want to call it. So, look, for the UFC fans themselves, I think they had a great day. The main fight was, whilst I said before, probably lackluster. The events that happened after were magnificent, but also during the day there was character fights from Derek Lewis, his post-match interview. For anyone that wants to see that, it'll crack you up. A fighter with great character.
Listen back to that many times. It's absolutely hilarious.
Someone that, you probably you look at these guys in the octagon, you think they're just these serious candidates, but this guy is just a comedian. And then obviously the fight beforehand between Ferguson and Perez was an absolute bloodbath, and both were just going at it neck and neck, and it looked like it was going to be a fantastic fight until obviously Perez broke his hand. So no, it was a fantastic day for the sport. So obviously at the end, a bit grey, but no, for the fans, I think they really got what they're after.
Yeah, and this kind of reminded me of a WWE match. I was just waiting for someone to grab a chair and just knock on the back of the head.
McGregor already threw the chair last year, so that.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, he threw the chair into the bus. That, as Mitch was talking about. So
really?
Yeah, so it's very real. Very real. That's not to say that WWE isn't real. It's probably...
Please don't ruin my dreams, okay? WWE is real to me.
But as you say, it's a very real event, and the tension between these two is obviously quite paramount. And if there is a rematch, I'm sure it would be one hell of a spectacle. But at the end of the day, I think the UFC should take a stand and say, Nah, not good enough.
Well, if you at home have any views on this, tweet us at the Rundown 10. But that's all the time we have for sport. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. So that's all we have for today's show. But join us again next week for more of the latest breaking news, sports and entertainment. And as always, we say goodbye.